So I was born in Georgetown, Guyana, which is on the northern tip of South America. My father was Hindu and my mother was Muslim. So I wasn't raised in a Christian household. I know that my upbringing was very conflicted in that type of toxic environment because my mom was very, very harsh at times. And I ended up leaving the house when I was 18, almost 19, in time for college. And I ended up finishing school and I met someone. We ended up getting married, having children, and I recognized some similarities with my spouse and my mother that were abusive and aggressive, and it was challenging for me to see this cycle continuing, and I learned that there are times where when you're in a situation, you normalize that kind of behavior because you're in that environment. You don't know any differently. Because I think at times I found myself, I was so angry and so disappointed. And I came across a book called A Love Worth Giving. And he talks about 1 Corinthians 13. And love is patient, love is kind, and he replaced the word love with Jesus. And he showed different examples of the different characteristics of love and of Jesus. And I found myself so mesmerized by this book and by the stories in this book. I fell in love with Jesus at that point because I think he represented everything that was missing for me, and started feeling that that need for peace. I couldn't find it, and I started reading. I started going to church more often. And like I said, being raised and exposed to both the Muslim and the Hindu religions, Christianity just opened a whole new door to me, and I became really, really hungry to learn about Jesus and his journey. I think the straw for me was seeing that the cycle could potentially repeat like it did with my mother, with my spouse. I could potentially repeat that cycle with my children. And I have 2 sons that are the best thing in my life, and I didn't want to repeat that cycle with them. So I became much more active and hungry for learning, I guess, about Jesus and about his journey and his love for us, the grace and the mercy that he gives us. So I started peeling back the layers, learning why my mother behaved the way that she did. I learned why my spouse behaved the way that he did. And forgiveness, it's not for the person who did you wrong. It's for you to free yourself from that burden that you carry. And once I started understanding their path and the reasons behind their behavior, and I was able to set that heavy burden down, and it was like an immense weight was lifted. But I think that the thing that made the most impact was being around a community of people who welcomed me and encouraged me and walked beside me. It made the journey so much better for me. And I had no idea what was waiting because, like I said, you normalize sometimes the things that can be painful, and that doesn't have to be. So sometimes if you take a chance and talk to people and share your journey, you'd be surprised to find that there are people who are going through similar things and they can help you. And I'm so grateful every day. I'm so grateful. Even amidst the storms, I'm grateful because I know it could have been different for me. And I'm just grateful that it turned out the way that it did. And I have a lot more to do, so I appreciate it. And I thank God every day for the journey and for walking with me every day.